So we had an opportunity to test Battleworld early. I'm going to go right into the Century fight. I think that's going to be what most people want to see. One of the things, looks like our guy's already got 2 KOs in there. Big Darky doing well. One of the things we want to show you is the boss immunities. So he's immune to a lot of different status effects, ability block, stun, slow, all those type of things. He's immune to almost all status effects. It brings out he's going to summon those hero and villain characters. But here's the key part. So Corrupted Mind. Sentry's going to lose 2% of his max health whenever he attacks a Brimstone enemy. Okay? If he spawns against all 5 Brimstone enemies, the maximum amount of health he could lose during any turn is increased by 3x. Darkened Hearts, Brimstone allies gain 50% damage, armor, resistance, and focus. So what we're looking at here, this is showing us that Brimstone, right, they don't have any Battleworld tags, right? We think about the Astro team. Astro has Battleworld tags. Sentry does not. He's simply just being weakened when fighting against the Brimstone team. And they can do 3 times as much damage. They can break that damage cap. So we'll have to see. It looked like it was still about 4 million damage. Well, we're going to have to find out. So what we'll do, a lot of people are going to be using Brimstone. So you'll be able to see that. I'll try to use some different teams, some other teams that people might have. So we'll go with Astro. And see what they're able to do. So we're loading in, and there's our guy. He's got those 6 stacks of heroism. And when those go away, he's going to annihilate the Avenger allies there, get more rage and stuff like that. So we don't want that to happen. So we want to try to remove those characters from the board, or stop them at least from being able to do the stuff to slow you down. They're not very strong. You can get after them pretty quickly. So notice a couple things we can do to the Sentry is we can indeed apply offense down. We can apply bleed, and we can apply defense down. So those are some things, again, we might want to keep in mind. Those are stuff that will be advantageous to us as the player. The Sentry likes to flip your positive effects into negative effects, especially during those big moves and during transitions. So again, being mindful of that, you're going to be looking for characters and teams that can cleanse. You're going to be looking for characters and teams that are going to be able to give you that safeguard and immunity, right? Big deal to get that safeguard and immunity. Let's see, I can do some damage here. I'm just trying to figure out. So that's how I get my immunity. We'll get rid of Ares here. Again, so these guys are not really strong. We just don't want them standing there when we make the flip, right? When he flips back to Sentry in this case, we just don't want those characters to be available for him to do us dirty with. There is a timer in the upper left-hand corner. All right, so our fights, I think it was at 6 minutes. So in case somebody finds another weird loophole or something like that, and people, we're trying to say, yeah, so people find another loophole, get infinite fights, they're taking care of that because there will be a timer, which is okay. In my opinion. So he plays a lot, right? If we look at him here, where are we at for rage? It's a big hit, but not a lot of damage, right? I'm not receiving a lot of damage. Where are we for rage? So we're at about 9. That's what the yellow thing is, right? Well, that's bullseye. Sentry, rage. Okay. Just got about 9. We'll play through this one, and then we'll pick a couple more battles. I'll fast forward a bit because I think that he kind of doesn't seem to really get into doing that good damage until he gets at about 20 rage stacks, depending on which characters you're using and stuff that's going on. So what else do we got here? There is a disrupt and a heal block, right? So I know he's immune to a lot of different stuff. So we're just trying to keep an eye out for the things. All right, so now things start to get a little wild. I'm starting to take some damage. We're at 24 rage, okay? We're at 24 of those rage stacks. So maybe I should have did the heal. Now, do you see that 4 million? So that's about the cap, it looks like. That 4 million is about the cap. And we're going to start taking these big hits. They're going to get harder. We're at 24 rage stacks yet. Can I heal with this? We got a heal block. Give my safeguard and immunity. So I heal with Moondragon. I gotta remember that. We gotta heal up just to... Well, we can't. We got permanent damage. We can't heal. We got permanent damage on the board. So we're probably at about max health for what we have. We want to try to stop these rage stacks. Woo, 29. 29. $40. So let's see what happens here. One more big hit from him might do us in. Here we go. Yep, character is starting to fall. So about that 20 spot, I don't even know if you can revive people. You probably can't. No, I don't like using Doctor Strange, but hey, we're just going to use him for the Astral team. So he's at 40 stacks. I haven't been paying attention. I don't know if the minions are getting stronger. So we're holding on. I mean, a good solid Astral team. Looks like it can put some damage in. I don't know what this looks like in comparison to other scores that people have, right? I don't know what this looks like in comparison to that. We're going to have to investigate. Oop, didn't mean to do that. So, 74. Yeah, this is probably a KO. 74 rage stacks. So if you have a team that has some sustain, you're going to want to bring those in. Woo! And we survived a little bit. We got a little bit more to go. At 74 rage stacks with the Astral team. So Astral, and again, this is the test server. This is the test server. So these characters are really strong. Many of us aren't going to have them this strong. But it looks like they're viable. $172 million. I don't know if that's good or not. Let's keep going. Let's go with the Superior 6. Excuse me, the Insidious 6. Just because we're looking at teams that people might have. So if you don't have Brimstone, this might be the team that you have free to play as a reasonably new player. The team does have synergy. The team does have sustain, right, as a raid team. So we're going to go back and forth between, do we want sustain, burst damage, right, things like that. I only have a couple more teams to try. I don't know how long I'll have access to this, so please, in the comments, throw some team suggestions in. If I have more access, I'll keep trying to practice. Now, initially, I had said I was going to fast forward, right? But we're just gonna play it out. I might go ahead and skip up to the 20 rage stack mark, or at least I'll skip ahead to when things start to get challenging. Is that reasonable? All right, so Void just did his ultimate. We're at about 15 rage, and it's not looking great. It's not looking great. I have a bunch of negative effects. I don't think I have a way to, I don't know the team enough. I don't think I have a way to cleanse them. Yeah, he's starting to do that big damage now. So a lot less, right? We did a lot less, but you can get on the board. Not terrible. Almost 100,000. You can get on the board at least with this team. All right, let's go with the big arena team. Fantastic Four MCU, the main three characters there, and Professor X, Odin. Let's just move our guy around right here. Maybe even like that. All right, let's try it. So obviously this is more of a bursty team. Sustain is not going to be as much of a deal. And I know a lot of people still don't have Professor X, but since I have access to him here, I thought it would be good to try it out. Now we can go ahead and use the Franklin Ultimate here just to get that AoE. You're going to get the battlefield effect up. We're going to use the middle one here because it does percentile damage. But remember, since we're not in arena, that battlefield effect can be removed, right? So I can use Odin there and see it switches to Odin's battlefield effect. I didn't know there was healing there. Well, that might be good. See, I don't use the character a lot. There's a trauma, a blind. Interesting. So I don't have the character, so I'm not super familiar with what he's actually able to do. Professor X, that is. But we get that 4 million swipe every single time. Can't ability block the professor, but we can do a lot of AoE damage. So we can do some damage with this team. Again, they don't have much in the way of sustain. Every time Odin strikes back, we're going to be doing that max damage. Well, maybe not every time. So what happens here with Professor X? Should I just leave it till the next wave of people drop? We'll just leave it till the next wave of people drop. Maybe I should have just did it anyway. We'll give ourselves some immunity here. We got 8 stacks of rage. I should just did the Professor X, huh? Because that's going to happen all the time. Yeah, we'll just go for it. And it's just be max damage, right? That 4 million. At least it's guaranteed to do that max damage. So we're at 10 stacks of rage. Who was that? Invisible Woman hits for the damage cap with a basic. We got that immunity and safeguard for the most part. So yeah, man, we're looking really good. Again, I don't have Professor X, but maybe just with some of these individuals. If you have Odin, if you have Fantastic Four, well, things are starting to unravel slightly. What are we at? 14 rage stacks. If you want to see the nodes, right? So we did go through the entirety of Battleworld. So if you want to see the nodes, you could always just fast forward. See what other teams we use. You could fast forward and see the day-by-day nodes. Again, I tried to just, my goal here was to kind of experiment and say, hey, if you don't have all the proper teams, how will you fare, right? If you don't have all the proper teams, how will you fare in this matchup? Should have got rid of that document. I know better. Curious to see how this is going to turn out. Well, looks like we're finding out. We're finding out how it turns out. 20 rage stacks. Yeah, I wonder if these guys get a little more robust. Just Odin left. He probably can't take another giant hit. Ooh, looks pretty. Hey, I'll take that. And he took it away from me. Oh, man. This is probably just an auto situation at this point, right? I only got a certain set of skills left. So I won't have Professor X, but what kind of score? I do have Odin on my main account. What kind of score could we get with just Odin? Maybe I would use Quasar instead. And there he goes. $200,000, not terrible, right? 200,000, not terrible. I can't even remember now what we got with. I have to go back and look. What did we get with Astral? Not bad. All right, I'm just making up stuff. Again, I'm not the greatest strategist, so we're going to go with Absolute A-Force, Null, and Old Man Logan. So this might not be the way to go. I was leaning into the sustain. Here. Hopefully, we get some sustain from Miss Marvel there. Miss Marvel Classic. There we go. Big hit from... Should I bring in the buddy? We're going to bring in the buddy with the thought that every time an enemy wave comes down, if he doesn't get knocked out, every time an enemy wave drops, I can put them in the red. I should get some speed. So Baby Carnage, here we go. So this is what the thought process was. We got Baby Carnage out. If he doesn't get annihilated here, then... Yeah, my dreams look like they're about to get shattered. Well, that didn't go. That didn't do what I want. So my thinking obviously was every time I got those guys into the red, that Baby Carnage would get some speed and he would go faster. So this might be... Obviously, there's going to be something to know. Just got to find a better team probably to put him on. Getting big hits there from Medusa. Yeah, this did not give me the sustain that I wanted. Well, live and learn. But there's probably something there with Logan. There's probably something there with Null. Just got to figure out a better team for that. But it put me on the board. Are we all in correct placement? We'll see, man. I don't know. Loading in. So we do have some... What do we got? Safeguard. At least on Daredevil. We got some immunity on everybody else, which is going to be good. Is there a guy back there? It's Iron Man. I can't click on him. There we go. We got to get those guys out of here. Check the damage. So there we go. It's a max damage attack from Elektra. Probably won't get to see stuff like that all the time. Get rid of Ares. So the guys are a little bit more robust than these symbiotes were. So we do want to try to get them off the board. We don't want him using their abilities and using them for fuel to increase his rage stacks and all that. That's not something that we have to deal with if we don't want to. So let's try not to. Woo. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be having the fun that I thought I was with the vigilante team either. I was just hoping as a raid team that they would have some sustain. Well, they could keep healing. Right? We do got some healing on the board. But it's not going to be enough. So yeah, this team isn't even going to make it to that 20. So we're learning, right? We learned some things that you might do. We learned some things not to do. So we'll be interested to see what cool stuff the community comes up with, what nice combos people come up with. I'm sure a lot of the other envoys definitely are more strategically minded, and they probably came up with some cool teams for us to try out. So this is what I have for the Century. This is what I got for the Century portion. Let's see how people did. Well, I know everybody didn't go yet. Everybody hasn't tried it, but even for those of us who did so far, I did pretty good on score. So we'll see what other people come up with. And again, so now we'll go to the nodes. You feel free to fast forward if you wish. All right. We're just going to be doing some voiceover. Look at all the zones. This is day 3, by the way. So look at all the zones. Again, just going to be doing some voiceover because when I was able, so this is geared for the Hellfire Club. As you can see there, the combat mods are geared for the Hellfire Club. And on day 3 like this, I think it's kind of okay to use the prescripted characters. I know that there is, again, some, right? We'll get deeper into that in another video. Should they be prescripted? Should they be trying to tell us which teams to use or not? On day 3 like this, there's a lot of nodes. So to make things simpler on day 3, gearing the nodes to certain teams kind of makes sense because there's a lot to choose from. So you just if you want to be efficient, going with the proper team, I get that, right? There's a lot of people that don't have the in-depth knowledge of the game like some of us who've been playing, right? I'm not the most knowledgeable person at all, but I have been playing the game since the beginning. So my roster is substantial, right? It's big. I don't really spend money, so it's not big dog like some of the big dogs out there because I don't really spend, but I understand the basics of how to play the game. So I can put together a little bit more basic theory crafting teams. I can do that. And some people might prefer that when getting through some of these nodes. You want to experiment with your roster. It makes sense to me. But when you got this many, it kind of makes sense for individuals who do not have that big a roster so that they know what to do. I would say you're not limited, but some of these teams, right, the more recent teams do require a certain amount of characters to function. So you are limited in that regard. I didn't look at the stats. So again, just to reiterate, I'm doing a voiceover after the fact, right? This has been happening over the course of a couple of days. I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't always be loud and talk. So when I had this opportunity, I wasn't able to record what was happening. So this is the Hellfire Club. And on this node, they seem to be doing really, really well, right? This is what they told us to use. It does seem to be working. We got Rachel here. She can spread that. I think I was deciding whether I should spread it on that side or spread it on the other side. So this is looking very effective. This node with the Hellfire Club. The only snafu could come in the form of big time Spider-Man there. But it looks like we got things under control. And with him gone, that's pretty much good game. Let's see what else we got into. All right, so we're going to go with the city one. I know we're looking at the mini boss here. I'm just kind of thinking what we should do. We're going to go with the city one, and that's going to be for the Insidious 6. So a lot of mods, including healing for the Insidious 6. And you got the Barrel of Bees for Swarm. So every time Swarm is turn, he's going to clone another Swarm. That's not too shabby. All right, so this is the mission. I can't remember what they call it, but the minions, the waves keep coming. And we turned it up to ×5 speed here with this team. And with the mods, it's pretty much, it's super easy. It's super easy. So again, depending on how you feel about that, right? Do you want the nodes to be easy? Do you want them to be challenging? This might be auto. It's looking like you could probably just do it on auto. So you gotta let me know what you think about that. Again, it's a check for the team. If you don't have the whole Insidious 6 team, right? It's not going to be the season. Again, this is at maximum power, right? This is on the test server, so this is at maximum power. Everybody's not going to have characters like this. I wonder. We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out today, or a couple of days, what it's going to be like if your teams are smaller than this, but at max power. Sorry about the audio there. So this is the Chaos node. I tried it with Quasar and Blastar. It did not work well, so we're going to go back to the Insidious 6. You do need, all right, you do need to be able to control the individuals, right? That's the problem that I was running into with Blastar and Quasar. They hit hard, but there's control necessary to really get through this. So we're trying to focus in this case on Azazel. He can give speed up to the team. And then obviously you got Nightcrawl over there who can also speed up the team. We fast forward in here ×2 speed. So this will take about 1.5 minutes. So it's not tough, but you just need to maintain control. So you see enemies here that can clear negative effects. And obviously you don't want people clearing the negative effects, because that's how the Insidious 6 is going to thrive. Here we go again. It's just speed, right? Or just speed to kind of try to take turns, flip your items, and you pretty much have that negated and under control. So this node, again, isn't bad. I don't know how this is going to go for most of us in real time. It's super easy if your characters are maxed out, and I don't know how many of us have that. So this might play out differently in the real world. We're going to do the bonus mission. We got Blue Marvel, Phantom Rider, or the Phoenix Force to work on us. That's the only characters we have. We don't have Blue Marvel available, so we can't use him. We'll spread these guys out a little bit and take a look at that node. All right, so I did this multiple times, okay? Curious to see what other people were able to accomplish. I was not able to get through one wave, right? I'm not able to beat these 5 characters. Okay, so again, I'm curious to see what other people were able to do. Maybe they were able to find a way to get it done. You get no bonuses here. There's no bonuses to the characters. And Blue Marvel is one of the characters, again, you can select. We don't have access to Blue Marvel, so it's possible that he's necessary in order to beat this node. So initially, people might be upset by this. I get it. I understand. But this is one of those things, right? It's just extra points. It's just extra points. If you're able to get through a wave, then you can put some points on the board for this. If not, it's a 0, and that's fine. This is going to be one of those areas of the game that's going to separate the spenders from the not. But again, it's not a huge deal. One node doesn't make a tremendous difference overall in your score. But, you know, everything counts, right? Points are points. Everything counts. So I'm down to Phoenix Force. I actually did some negative effects to those guys. We're going to clear out, I think, this side of the field. Maybe. I thought I was able to get rid. There we go. So something can happen, right? Maybe if I tried it a couple more times, I could do a little bit better. But you are able to remove opponents. So maybe with some different play, we could get through. Again, I tried it multiple times. This is the best that I was able to do. We're going to take a look at the mini boss. There are no buffs for certain characters here, just buffs for the boss itself. In this case, it is Red Guardian. Because of that, right? I'm trying to hit hard and fast. The other mini bosses earlier, I wasn't really able to do much with. I don't have any footage for day 1. So I'm not sure how strong that boss was. Day 2, I wasn't able to do anything to the boss. So we're going to go with Fantastic Four MCU. Just because we need somebody strong, right? I didn't know what to expect. I wanted to go with somebody strong. This seems reasonable. So we have 3 stacks of safeguard and immunity. And that was a problem that I ran into with the other bosses. So you can shoot through that. It looks like he resisted. Look at the immunity. He resisted the what do we call it? The decay on that. But if we get rid of the safeguard, then we're able to maybe start controlling the character. He doesn't hit as hard as, who is the guy? It's Phoenix Force Omega Red was the last one. So obviously Red Guardian doesn't hit as hard as Phoenix Force Omega Red. We're able to do damage to him. So as you can see, we're going to be able to finish this guy. Now, I don't know if this is the best team to use. You might want to use your Fantastic Four somewhere else. It might be overkill, but I had trouble with the last one. So I just figured we needed to go harder, go all in on this one. See, once we get those buffs flipped, then we can just whittle him down and knock him out. That's going to be a good game for this. Okay, so this is the first node. I should have showed you what it is. This is a city node. Again, this is one I tried multiple times. There are a ton of buffs for the vigilante team, and I was not able to succeed. I was not able to clear the node. Yeah, man, I don't know. That's all I got to say. So I'm sure somebody's going to be able to do it. Again, taking stabs at it here and there. I just was not able to finish it. I seem to get overwhelmed at some point by the opponents. But again, I'm curious to see what you guys are able to find. I'll go ahead and perhaps speed the footage up. What's happening here? Am I doing some work? It looks like I'm doing some work. I'm having some success. This was better. This was my best run. This was my best run. So most of the time, I wasn't even able to get through this this wave of characters. Most of the time, I wasn't even able to get through this wave of characters. So that was the that was the frustrating part. So as you see, right, they can recover. I need to be better at keeping people under control and eliminating. So that Iron Man right there, I could have got rid of him. I was focused on the Emma because I'm just worried about Emma. Finally, somebody's down. So maybe I shouldn't have worried as much about the Emma. We can get her under control finally because she doesn't have immunity. And then I'm deciding, should I turn my attention to that Iron Man? So he's down. We got the Emma. And I'm doing a little dance, but I forgot, right? It's not the whole node. It's just it's just the first wave. So wave 1 of 3, Kang, and the rest of, I can't remember the name of the team, man. I'm sorry, man, and them. I can't remember the name of the team. But Kang's going to do some work on me, man. If I can't get rid of him, he's going to hurt me. He's already out of the gate. So I don't know if you guys remember Kang. He's pretty much a countdown to that ultimate, bro. That ultimate hits extraordinarily hard. And we were never really able to establish control. I can't really get him. But you see my team is starting to lose. Even though they're all villains and I have an advantage of fighting against villains, and I have an advantage of the multiple buffs that are on this node. Yeah, stuff like that happens. It's 3 on 4, plus there's another wave to drop down. So I'm not going to be able to win this match.